But no, I gotta go find this stupid cat. Just let the cat die and get out! Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and joining me today is none other than Cody Leach. What's up, Cody?
What's going on, man? Let's talk some Alien.
This guy is a true horror fan, and this is in that genre, and it's in the sci-fi genre, and it, made a whole new definition of, both genres. Gotta bring in Cody, the master, to talk about this with me. Also because I've only seen Prometheus. I have seen no other Alien movie in this franchise, period. Just Prometheus. So this is through fresh eyes here, just like I did with Matique when we went through the Fast and the Furious. And just like with the Fast and the Furious, all the odd number Alien movies will be here on my channel, and the even numbers will be on Cody's channel. So Cody, where can we find your channel?
You can find my channel at youtube.com/Cody Leach channel, or you can just search Cody Leach, and I guarantee I'll be the first one that pops up.
Nice! So there you have it. You can check out his channel, subscribe to his channel, and you can check out our review of Aliens right there, right now.
Yes.
But right now we're doing the first one, which is Alien singular, no S. So Cody, get us started. What did you think of Alien?
All right, well, Alien I have a funny relationship with because I grew up watching Aliens, the one that we're going to talk to after you get done watching this video. You can go over and see what we said about that one. Alien I actually didn't see for the first time until I was 18 years old, and it was as my movie taste kind of grew, and I was like, I should have seen this movie by now. I need to correct that. So I went and I bought the Blu-ray set, or probably the DVD set at the time, actually. And I watched Alien for the first time, and this is one of not only the most iconic, but one of the best sci-fi horror movies that's ever been made. You got Ridley Scott, who was still fairly new, basically just reinvented the game as far as sci-fi horror movies. You have this ship, the Nostromo. It's just this little towing vehicle in the future, and you got a great cast. And basically they go onto this derelict planet because they get woken up. There's this little distress signal. They go down to check out what it is. One of them gets this nasty looking thing called a face hugger on his head. And so we have our movie. And just, it's one of those movies where whenever I watch it, I always try to put myself in the position of somebody watching it for the first time in 1979. And people must have been losing their minds when this movie came out, because it's one of those movies that just unfolds at such a wicked pace, and it's so tense and just ratchets and ratchets and ratchets around you that you never know what's going on. You're just like the people in the Nostromo. You don't know what's going on behind every corner until it happens.
You know, it's interesting because they did do a good job with the tension, because the alien itself is not in a ton of this movie, but it's about the tension of the alien could be in this room, he could be in that room. Or that stupid cat. They're chasing the cat into this room or that room. And who
Jonesy.
knows, the cat's gonna get eaten. It's oh gosh. But yeah, and so it's interesting because it's my wife's first time watching it too. So when we were preparing for this and we were watching the first Alien movie, it's funny because when the guy who gets the face hugger and he's looking at the egg and the egg is open and he's looking down, and we're oh no. Oh no. And then when the spider creature jumps out, because that's what it was to us. And both my wife and I hate spiders with an unyielding passion. So the little facehugger dude was the worst part for us, because it reminded us too much of a little spider, and it freaked us out, man.
Yeah.
So that was kind of freaky. But the one thing I noticed though when I was watching this, so comparing this to the movie Life, and now I understand why you wanted me to see Alien before I saw Life.
Which you
Life
didn't do.
A lot from Alien. But what was interesting about Life was it really did start small, the Alien. And it got bigger and bigger, and we watched it progress in different stages. And so having watched that first, and then going into Alien where it goes facehugger, bursts out of the guy's chest, and then all of a sudden it's an adult, there was a part of me that wanted to watch the alien grow in a few more different stages before it became that full-grown alien. So part of me felt a little disappointed in that, because that was the one thing I liked about Life. But other than that, though, it was still really cool. I mean, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I can understand the criticism there about how it went from, I mean, obviously you don't see it grow inside the guy's chest, so that makes sense. But once it gets out, and it blows through John Hurt's chest, and then all of a sudden the next time you see it, it's swinging in those chains, and that great scene, and it's fully adult. I understand what you mean about not kind of getting to see the, you went from step A to step C, but you kind of wanted to marinate in step B for a little while. I think that was all intended, though, because I think one of the biggest things they were going for with the original Alien was having these wildly unique creature designs. So you have the face hugger, and that already is freaking people out, especially people who are afraid of spiders. And then you have you have this monster blow out of this guy's chest, and one of the best scenes of this movie. And then you're like, oh god, they're gonna see this little snake-looking thing around every single corner now. And the next time you see it, it's this full adult swinging from these chains. And one of the best things I love about the design of the Xenomorph is that it blends in with all the different like components and hoses and everything in the ship. So it almost looks like a part of the ship until it's ripping your head off. So I mean, I think that was intended with the movie, and I like what you were saying about how it's really minimalistically used in this. And I think the best way you can describe Alien, if you want to give somebody just a quick little synopsis of it, is it's Jaws in space. Just like the way in Jaws, how you don't get to see the shark very much, and they use it very, very sparingly, and it really makes the tension and the dread go up. It's the same effect in Alien.
What I like about that, though, is how it plays on your imagination. Like, they want you to use your imagination and your own imagination to freak you out. That Alien looked great, even for today's standards.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of CGI that looks good, but nowadays we use it so much, some of it doesn't even look good anymore. I mean, that Alien, the way that thing was designed, the way it moved, it looked real, it felt real, it was really scary, and I feel like when I was watching those effects in particular, where you had the creature walking around, I thought that holds up to today and even competes with stuff we got today.
It does. It still holds up, and it does. It's still the standard. It hasn't been beaten yet. I mean, it's crazy, and it's no question why they won the Academy Award that year for Best Visual Effects. And fun little fact, too, a lot of the design, or basically all the design of not only parts of the ship, but the alien planet, the alien ship, the little space jockey, what they call it, that big alien being that's in that giant telescope that they find, and all of the designs for the alien that you see in this, they were designed by this guy, H.R. Geiger, who's this Swedish painter, I believe. And he's got a painting called Necronom 4. And if you Google it, it looks like it's just a painting of the movie Alien. But in reality, it was this really wildly, disturbingly beautiful, strange painting that he made. And then they hired him based off of that painting to do the design for the Xenomorph. And now we have one of the most iconic alien designs ever.
One of the first things my wife said when we were watching this, she goes, Independence Day. Because it's like, even Independence Day was in part ripping off the design of that alien, because you just, like you said, you just can't beat that. Like, to me, that was the best part. One of the best parts in watching that was the alien. One of the things that drove me nuts, though, in this movie, I don't know if this is a positive or a negative, because it is a testament to how engaged I was in this. Jonesy, the stupid cat.
Yes.
I let the cat die so that you live. What is the problem with that? I mean, first off, the first guy who dies by alien, not the guy who got the chest blown out, but the other guy, like, he died because he left the group to go find the stupid cat. And that's when we get the swinging alien from the chains. And then we have Sigourney Weaver Ripley at the end of the movie, about to go away in the shuttle. Could have gone away in the shuttle, but no, I gotta go find this stupid cat. And it's just like, the cat made me so angry in this movie, because I feel like this cat was the cause of so many deaths. Just let the cat die and get out.
Hey man, you can't put a price on companionship. You gotta
sure.
I'm with you on that, but I'm also not a cat person, so that cat would have been dead in the first, or it would have been left in the first 5 minutes. There would have been no going back for that thing if I was on the Nostromo. So yeah, I totally get that. That's one of those things that it's always going to be kind of a cliche, if you will. Back then, it might not have even been a cliche, but it's definitely a cliche now about not only people doing dumb decisions, but putting team animal before team people. So it's I get that. Really, while we're getting into, you want to talk a little bit about each of the characters?
Yeah, let's do it.
So you were talking about, we'll go ahead and start with, the one that we have to talk about, Ellen Ripley. So you got Sigourney Weaver, and what's funny about her character when you watch the original Alien is that the first half or so of this movie, she seems like that character where she's going to be very by the book. She's going to be very by the numbers. She's going to get in everybody's way, trying to be, you know, the good soldier, if you will, and she's going to get on your nerves. And then about halfway through the movie, you realize, holy crap, she was right. We should have listened to her. And the more things get crazy, the more people that get wiped out, she kind of evolves not only as a character, but your perception of her evolves throughout the movie. And now she's basically the standard for strong female heroine in movies.
You know, I only knew Ripley was the main character because, you know, that was 1979, and even having not seen the movies, you hear Ripley, Ripley, Ripley. But I wish I didn't know that, because it would have been really cool to have this movie change my perception that way, because it was really cool to watch what you just said. You know, she's just a by-the-book soldier, and then you have the captain, and you can tell she's second in command. You can tell she's strong, but then as everything begins to shift, you find out, nope, this girl's the real strong one.
Yes.
We need to listen to her, because she's got the right ideas here. Her and Parker. I liked Parker. Had everybody listened to Parker at the beginning of this movie, nobody would have died. Had they continued to listen to him throughout the progress of this movie, people would have lived. But nobody listened to Parker, so only Ripley lived. We
always have that one character who is the voice of reason, and as he's getting dragged away by the killer, he's like, I told you!
Yeah, I know! I told you so!
Yeah, he was great, and going on the point you were talking about, too, about, like, you wish you didn't know that Ripley was going to be the main character. One of the other really great things that Alien did, and I had to do some research to see if this was the first or one of the first movies to do this, but they pulled a great bait and switch with Tom Skerritt's character, because if I'm not mistaken, he was the top billing actor in this movie at the time. He was the most famous name, and he's like the second person to get taken out. So as soon as he was dead, I mean, it's like, I don't know who's going to be our hero now. Anybody could die.
That's a really cool bait and switch. I like it when you look at the actor and you think, that's going to be the lead guy. Okay, he's gone. Okay, so anybody could go now. So it's like, it adds to that tension, and I thought that was really cool. Another character, Ash. He's a character where from the beginning, something's off with him. And then... Very. I should have known from Prometheus how, you know, Magneto from the Young X-Men series, how he was an android, and how that was kind of like this little reveal that he was an android. I should have known. But I didn't. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that was a thing with Alien. And then, all of a sudden, they beat his head off with a bat because he's deciding the company needs this alien life more than it needs its employees to survive. So they fight Ash, they beat off his head, and he's still fighting. I'm like, what is this? Is this another alien? Is there another alien on this ship? Has there been an alien on this ship all along? And then it's an android. I have to say that my wife loves senseless violence, so when his head was hanging by a thread of skin and he was still fighting, she was laughing hysterically, having the time of her life in that scene. But the shock and awe of it, man, like, I knew there's something off with him, and I knew he was a company man, the way he wanted everybody to die, but the alien to live, it's like, okay, he's a bad guy, but the shock that he was an android in that moment when they were, like, white stuff was coming out of his mouth, that freaked me out.
Yes, that's a great scene, because that's one of the best shocks of this movie, and it has nothing to do with an alien, because, you know, like you said, from the very beginning, you're like, this guy's really smart, he seems like he's on top of his game, but there's something about him. Like, there's just something there. It's not really in your face, they don't even really overplay it too much, it's just a little tiny grain of salt suspicion. And then it kind of gets a little bit bigger throughout the movie, and then all of a sudden you have that scene where things really start hitting the fan, and I think he grabs one of them, and all of a sudden you just see that great shot of that one drip of white blood just kind of coming down his face, and you're like, what is that? And then all of a sudden, yeah, like you said, everything goes, and then his head's hanging on by a piece of skin, and all that craziness. And I love the line after he's already been pretty much dispatched, and they kind of reactivate him just to get a little bit of information, and it's just his head on the table. And, you know, they're asking about the alien and what the company wants, and he just looks at him and he goes, well, I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies. And it's just like, oh, great, we're screwed.
Yep.
He's not in the movie very long, but you have Cash. He's the one who gets the face hugger, played by John Hurt.
He was a cool character, too. I liked him, and I was sad he was the first to go.
Yes, and he did great in that scene. That's the best scene in the movie, probably, is the chestburster scene, or it's at least the most memorable scene, because the way that they did that scene is so brilliant. It gives you absolutely no hints that something is very, very wrong. It gives you this, it gives you this feeling like, oh, okay, everything's okay now. There's probably going to be another alien later on, or something weird's going to happen. And they're all eating dinner and laughing, and then, there's no music. There's no camera tricks. It's just a scene. And then all of a sudden he starts choking and convulsing and they're holding him down. And then he screams and that thing just blows out of his chest. And I love whenever it pans the camera because the chest burster comes out and it just pans the room. And it looks at all of them like, oh yeah, I'm going to get all of you. And
that was such a great moment.
That scene,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think like that's probably the one moment where people in 1979 were like passing out in the theaters.
I would. Going back to something you said earlier, where the alien, part of its design was you would think it was part of the piping and electrical cords or whatever. When she thinks she's escaped it, and Sigourney Weaver gets on the shuttle and self-destructs the ship, which first off, that was a really well done sequence. Like, I thought she was going to be able to turn off the self-destruct sequence, and she hit the button to turn off to cancel the sequence, but did it like a few seconds before, but it wouldn't listen. And I was like, that's a typical computer. A computer where you did everything right, and it still won't listen. Yes! 1979 got that right.
Yes,
that was a great moment because I felt all of that frustration. All of her frustration, 1, with computers, 2, with the fact that nothing's working, and 3, the alien was blocking her way, but now she had no choice but to go back the way where the alien was standing between her and the shuttle to get there. Great moment. But then when she thought she was safe, ship blows up, effects there were pretty lousy, but for the 70s, I'm sure they were pretty great. And then all of a sudden, there it is, in the piping of her shuttle, and it's like, oh crud, what are we going to do? Like, that was such a good moment.
Yes. Yeah, you've got about 10 square feet of room to battle this thing. So that's like they take the movie and it's, if you notice too, they get the amount of space that you have gets smaller throughout the movie. Like they have this big derelict planet and now they're in the Nostromo and now they're in hallways and now she's in this little tiny escape pod and it just makes it that much more claustrophobic throughout the runtime.
The movie is really kind of like a nightmare. Like, you know, your nightmares when you're running away from something and your legs are moving fast, but you're not moving. And the thing is coming. So that's kind of like what it feels like. You're just getting bottlenecked into a smaller and smaller area, and there's nothing you can do. And now you're face to face with it. And those were some really awesome moments in this movie.
Yeah. That's one of the best scenes, like you're just described, is whenever, it feels like everything's okay. Like your movie mind is saying, there's about 15 minutes left, something else is going to happen. But you know, when you're invested, you're like, oh, cool, she's going to get away. And then all of a sudden she reaches for something and then it just comes out at her and you're like, oh, no. So, yeah. Now, one other character we should mention, because it's really my only negative with this movie, is Lambert. A bad mix of emotions, because I swear from the opening credits to the end, or at least till her end, she's like crying hysterically, or she's just like on this ultra high the entire movie. If she's mad, she's extremely just flailing everything around. If she's upset, she's smacking people and crying. And it's like, I think they were trying to make her like kind of a representation of the audience's emotions, but to me, she's just one of those characters. She's one of those characters where I'm like, she should be the next to die. So let's make that happen, please. So, and oddly enough, she's the only actor who won at the Saturn Awards when this came out for Best Supporting Actress.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's what...
Oh my gosh. I agree.
This is real
she
life.
was so annoying. She reminded me of a CW character where it's all about the melodrama. And that's what she reminded me of. A character that's on a show on the CW full of melodrama. And I was excited when the alien destroyed her in the end. Oh my gosh. So Cody, the first Alien, what's your rating for it?
Alright, so the first Alien, again, this is like the standard for sci-fi horror. There has been dozens of movies that have tried to do what Alien did. We just saw one just a week ago. This is one of the most iconic movies out there, and it started a great franchise. You know, for better or worse, it started the Alien franchise. And I love this movie. I'm always going to love it. This is absolutely a go out and buy it.
I gave this movie a B. Now, from an A+ to a B+, that's a movie I'm desperate to see again, and I want to own it. And this one is just outside of that. I loved it, and I thought it was really good. And I could see exactly why it defined the genre. All the iconic stuff. Like, it was a brilliant movie, and Ridley Scott did a great job with it. But there was just something about it where I really liked it, but didn't absolutely fall in love with it. That's different for me, though, in the second one. So,
which we will be talking about soon.
Yes, we will. Yes, so if you go over to Cody's channel right now, you can watch our review for Aliens. What did you think of the first Alien movie? Make sure to let us know in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button, become a Durbanian. Next to the subscribe button is that bell. When you click the bell, you'll be notified the moment I drop a new video. And you should watch our Aliens review right now on Cody Leach's channel, which is also a great channel that you should subscribe to right away. And hit the bell on his channel too, because he does all kinds of great stuff. Cody, tell us about your channel.
Well, I do a lot of the same thing that Durbin does. Do some movie reviews. I also do TV, video game, and music reviews. I do trailer reactions, random videos, and a lot of great collaborations like this. So come over and check that out at youtube.com/Cody Leach channel. Or like I said before, you can just search my name, Cody Leach, and I guarantee you I'll be the first person on the list.
So check out both of our channels, subscribe to both of our channels, check out our Aliens review right now. I'm Durbin. This is Cody. Thank you for checking out Durbania.